Welcome to Film Riot. Depending on when you watch this, we might be a day or two away from finally shooting my short film, There Comes the Knocking, which we're shooting on September 14th and 15th, which means we're in the tail end of pre-production, getting everything together, and it's stressful and exciting, so we wanted to cover a little bit about that today. First of all is that I announced my lead in the film, which is Stephanie Butler. You probably saw this already if you follow me on Instagram or Twitter, but I've been wanting to work with Stephanie for a while, following her work. She's been in all kinds of great stuff, including Stranger Things. But I met Stephanie on the set of Justin Robinson's latest short film, Guest of Honor, and she's not only a fantastic actress, but just a fantastic person, so I really wanted to work with her, and I actually wrote this short film with her in mind, so I was thrilled when she actually said yes to the project. Another thing I've been posting are our location adventures. We saw a total of 4 locations, with the first location being the one we ultimately went with, and nothing else touched this thing. I mean, the second location did sort of work, but not really as much as the first did. With the first location, what worked so well was the layout. Now, with all the locations, you have to go into it knowing that nothing's gonna line up exactly with what you wrote. And I do tend to write very specific as far as the environment and how the actors move through the environment, which always makes it a little difficult, but it's about the intention, why you had them move through the environment in that way. That way you can adjust those things to fit the environment that you actually end up going with and still get the same end result. So when looking through each location, I'm always having that in mind. How can I utilize this location and adjust my script to still get the exact same intention and story, but in just a slightly different way? The first location worked perfectly for that. There was very little bending to get it to work for what we needed, but the style was a little more Victorian than what I had in mind. I was thinking something a little closer to what the second house looked like, which is more Fincher-esque, more modern, but still with that vintage flair. But in the end, I think it's gonna work out really well, just bending the script just a little to fit the vibe of this location and fitting that character into that location. And I think it's going to make for a better film than I even intended. Now, to find these locations, we did get location scouts, and this is my 4th project using location scouts, and they are absolutely worth the money. They're able to find the types of things that I have no idea how to even begin to look for. So they compiled a folder of 20 plus houses of pictures for me to go through, and then I selected 4 houses to go look at based on those pictures. While at the first location, me and Chase pretty much knew right away that this was going to be our location. So we spent a lot of time there with our Blackmagic Pocket Cinema camera going through and sort of testing out shot ideas, how things will feel actually through the lens, how the space feels through the lens, so we could watch that back later and give us an idea of how we can shot list to this location best. Another piece of gear I brought along was my Insta 360, which is the first time that I've used something like this for location scouting, and I will do it forever now. The Insta 360 is a camera that will allow you to do 360 video. So I walk through the location, holding it out just through every single room, so then we can then take that video, make a 360 video out of it, and then share it with our team. Plus, it's something I can go back to look at the room in a full 360 and get ideas, and that way you're not just locked into those perspectives you got from the pictures you took on your phone or the video we took on the Blackmagic. So it's really like going back and doing a whole nother virtual tour of this place. Plus, it's something that I can send off to Chase and his gaffer so they can go through the rooms that we know we're going to be shooting in and see from every angle to how they can rig the lights so we can really get a good game plan in advance. So it's definitely something I'm going to use on every location scout from here on out. Plus, you can do stuff like this with it, which I posted online because, I mean, looks cool. So now that we have the location locked, and since as of filming this, we're only a week away from shooting, it's about wrapping up all the loose ends and finishing the things we need to get to the point to where we roll cameras, which of course are things like finalizing all the production design, working on wardrobe, which I like to create lookbooks for everything. If there's an important prop or wardrobe specifically, I create lookbooks, which I turn into a PDF that I can share with my team that really shows my vision of how I see those specific things. Then of course there's the shot list, which for my last 3 films, I've been doing in Google Docs, just creating tables which have just the things I need in there. And then once I have that, I can easily transport that off to something like Studio Binder, which we've been using a lot for this production. You can create strips in there, you can create shot lists. In the end, I'm definitely going to be porting over to this for my shot list because you can attach storyboards to it, and it just works really really well to attach the whole team to that so we can all stay on the same page with everything that's going on. And given that this, like all of my films, is very low budget compared to what we're trying to pull off, you always find yourself having to pivot from original ideas to still be able to pull off what you want to when things go wrong. And one of those is the fact that the master anamorphics that we did want to shoot on are not available for the weekend that we need them, so we have to go with different lenses. Luckily, Chase was at a camera house at the time that this happened and tested out some Cooke anamorphics and then sent me those tests, and I think it's actually one of those moments where something that seemed like a bad thing is turning into a great thing, because I'd never worked with Cooke anamorphics before, and these look way more in line with the ultimate vibe that I really wanted for this piece, where it's still clean, but you are very much getting that anamorphic vibe, because I do write a lot of stories about, you know, damaged people. So I like the texture and the character that comes with anamorphic for that reason, and I think you're feeling that a lot more with these lenses than you do with the crystal clean master anamorphic. So I'm very excited that it actually went in this direction. I think this is going to work out a lot better. But that's just one of like 1,000 things that didn't go the way I thought it was going to go, and you just gotta keep a cool head, keep moving forward, and switch where you need to switch. And thankfully, I'm not doing it alone. I have an amazing team on this one, and filmmaking, as you all know, is not a single sport. It's a team sport. You need a group of people around you helping you make this happen, especially when you do it at a certain level, when you're bringing a lot of crew in and a location that you only have a finite amount of time in. You really need people who know their stuff and are going to be there to back you up. And I have exactly that. I have 4 amazing producers on this one: Isaac Lewis, Andrew Lewis, Ryan Pauly, and Grant Wakefield, and without them, this would absolutely not happen. The only reason that this film is happening at all is thanks to that team. Me and my brother Tim are just executive producers on this one. Those guys have been the soldiers, feet on the ground, making this whole thing happen, and I can't thank them enough for that. Definitely check out the links below for their social media as well. I'm sure they'll be posting from set also. Completely unrelated to all that, Edelkrone recently sent us over a ton of goodies, which I'm telling you about because we're going to be getting into them very soon, and I really love this stuff, including the Slider Plus, the Head Plus, and the Flex Tilt Head 2. You got a lot of motion control here, and very cleverly made. The slider actually works like a slider double its length. Because of the design here, you're taking up half the space of what you're actually getting in the distance that you can use the slider. And the motion control is definitely some of the most intuitive and well thought out that we've used. So there's a ton of ideas that we already have, specifically with visual effects, obviously, and we're going to be getting to a lot of that very, very soon. But I wanted to let you know now that it's coming, because we're not going to be getting to it until after the film, of course. But definitely check out the links in the notes below. We'll put links for all of the gear that we have here, so you can check that out now in advance before we get to the stuff that we're going to do when we do it, which is not now, but later. Okay, good. But that's it for today. Next time you see me, I'm probably going to have a lot more gray in my hair, but hopefully a good film on my hands. We wrap, of course, on the 15th, and then on the 18th, I'm going to be flying out to St. Louis to get right into editing with Lucas. I'm going to be taking a camera along and filming that whole process again, just like we did with Ballistic. So look out for all of that, and until next time, don't forget to write, shoot, edit, review.